Yeah.
All right. So welcome to this week's weekly sync. So as I said on Slack, we'll just go through the demo. So each team that worked together are expected to share their screen and then walk us through the features they worked on and then the code. So if we have any questions or comments or any contribution, we can tell them, and then the other team can do the same. So after that, I'll go through the code review module. So I will demonstrate with Rachel's PR, their team's PR that is still there. So you can actually do your own demo from your local machine, from your local code. No need to do it from, since it's not merged. But Cluster's team can do their own demo from the production link. So after that, Aristos will take us through the rebase session to just show us how. And then we'll also talk about, there were a lot of questions about who is supposed to merge, when are we supposed to tag the other team and everything. So we plan to go through everything today, just one more time. I understand that we are just starting, we are not used to it, so it's very understandable. So around the time of the rebase, we'll go through that step again, just so we are clear about the processes. And then after that, we'll go through the issues, the tasks for next week. So yeah, we'll start with the demo. Richard, Rita.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and you did great this week. The issues were tackled like very fast. So who wants to go first and demo their issue or the feature they implemented? Which team want to go first?
Okay, let me go first.
Okay, Rachel and Mehdi.
Yeah,
Rachel, as Shamaka said, you can either demo from the local host, or you can use the link in the PR. There is a link in your PR that's also like production, but it's specific to that PR. So it's your choice. But it will be easier to just demo from the local host.
That's from my VS Code, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You just need
to share screen.
Okay, Shamaka, can you please give permission? I think she is not here.
I still can't share my screen.
Shamaka, I need to give permission for that.
Hey, okay, I'm doing that. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. You can go ahead, Rachel.
Okay.
I need to disable that from my settings. Sorry.
Okay. I hope everyone is seeing my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. This is the list folder that we worked on last week. And what we are to do is to display this list item inside this UL, and for the list items to be visible. So what we did was we mapped over this data. And for each of the items, we are displaying each of the list item inside this component. And this component is list item. List item. I say, I think it's okay. Does it here? This is what the list item component is. It has a prop of name, and it's a list. So what we did was to Okay. So, okay, what we did was to map over it, each of the data that we have, the names, and we displayed just the name and the ID, which we use as the key here, as the list item. So I have my date, excuse me, let me show the outcome. Okay. It's still coming up. Okay. These are the list items, just the name that is displaying right now. I think that's just all. In case there is any question or any issue that we're supposed to talk about.
Thanks, Michelle. The code is very clear and everything is fine. One note is just for the other team, when you present, like you should present the demo first, like the outcome first, then the code. But it's fine. This is your first time doing that, so it's totally fine. Is there any question from the other team or the mentors about this issue?
No, not from me. It was pretty straightforward.
All right, great job. Thanks, Michelle. And
Thank you.
I guess Clesta and Victor were together, right?
Yeah, so we paired together. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen.
All right, thank you.
So I guess just a window. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so can you see my screen okay? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, can see it.
So Victor's gonna take us through the demo, and then I'm gonna take us through the code.
Okay, hello guys.
Hello.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so our task was to implement navigation. And as Clesta's screen shows, when you're on an active page, the element is almost double underlined. We used the link item, the link item component from React Router DOM. I think Clesta will run through the code, but when clicked, you can see the URL changes depending on the page you're on. So that was the functionality we are supposed to implement this week. So I guess Clesta, you will run through the code.
Yes, so I'll take you. Can you see my code?
At the moment, we can see your screen. Your
browser. I can still see the browser.
Okay. For some reason, I couldn't share. I think it's me. I didn't share my whole. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Sure. We can see it now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we imported navlink from React Router DOM. We are in the layout JSX component. So here we included navlink for each part of the navbar. And we also added the to part for the navlink, which takes you to the correct page for each one. So it's /list for the list and /add item for the add item. So the other good thing about Navlink is that it doesn't refresh the browser when it switches from page to page. And I think that's it. That's what we did here. Any questions?
Thank you, Calista. Not from my side.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about outlets. How does it work? Line 21, I mean.
That wasn't part of the, you want me to go into components? We didn't add this as part of the issue.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was I guess it was there. Sorry, Calista. I guess it was there from the
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
presentation. And
Alright.
it's yeah, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's React Router. It's React Router's functionality, which pretty much tells it that whatever you put inside outlet and it's nested and views is part of the navigation.
It's basically like children instead of children. It's just for nested routes. So if you navigate for / and whatever is inside that component, for example, if you go, can you go to the app.js, Calista?
Sorry, where did you already go? You cut out there.
The app JSX up.
Oh, I see.
Yep. It's under, I will write it here.
What's the number?
App.jsx. I guess it's
app,
there.
okay, it's
Yeah.
over here, yeah.
Yeah, can you go down, please? So basically, if you can see there is a route that is wrapping the other routes. So the outlet will be, which will be each child is there. So for example, the list component, the home component, or the add item component. So it's basically like the children prop, but this is the functionality of the React Router version 6. It's new. It's not how it used to done.
Yeah, I noticed it's with the latest version of React Router DOM, I think, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if I really succeed to explain what is it, but it's basically like the children prop. So it's render whatever path is without the outlet, none of the component will show up. Not the home page, not the list, not the add item. It happened like I did work with it the last.
I've not had to use it, but I've seen it in a few of our code bases at all. I've not had to use it. All right, nice presentation. Your functionality works well. Well done.
Well done, both teams. I have a small note about the PR that you made. It's great, everything is great, but for the first note is about the title of the PR. So if you didn't modify the title, it will just take the name of the branch. And I will share my screen. This is just an example. So can you see my screen? So here, basically, we have the first letters of your names, and you could remove that while the title should be descriptive. So read shopping list is enough. So this is just the name of the branch. This is the first thing. The second thing is for the checklist here for the acceptance criteria. So basically you need to check them, because right now, if I see the PR, I will just assume that you didn't fill the acceptance criteria. So the way you do that is just by putting like the letter X here, and that will check the checklist, or you can either do it like without just, this is the empty form how to do the checklist. Otherwise, you can just do it, I guess, directly from here. You can just check it. So, and also the more descriptive the PR is, the easier the other team can review your code. So I guess for this issue is enough, but for the upcoming issues, try to be more descriptive so the other team can find the components easy, the components and every change like easier to review. The last thing I will say is about the testing steps and criteria. It could be more, you can give more details. For example, for the Clesta and Victor PR, you could, for example, here, after polling and everything, you could say, for example, click the list and you will go to the route, or click the home and you will go out. So this is actually how you will test your future is working. So the way it's basically, I know that we didn't go through these things, what you should do in each of these things. Yeah, but I guess we will have a learning model about this. This is just notes to improve for the next weeks. And that's it. If there is any question, please feel free to drop it.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes.
For that part that you showed now, are we the one that is supposed to check those criteria, or the other team that is to review it?
The one who did the issue, the team who did the issue should check that. So whenever you do, like for example, whenever you fill criteria, you should check it. So you are telling this is done. Otherwise, if someone comes from outside your PR and see the acceptance criteria is not checked, he will just assume, or they will just assume that it's not done yet.
Okay.
So,
okay. I think the mistake we did was that we checked the one for the other team. So we're actually expecting them to check ours after reviewing it.
Oh, no, you are responsible to check them because you are the one who are responsible to like do the future. And that's it. Any other question? All right, so I guess Shamaka will go to the learning module.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rita. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so today we'll talk about code reviews. Like we do a lot of code reviews on the Collab lab, so that's why we thought it important to go through code reviews, just so we see how they can be done better. All right. Okay, so we are going to go through what is code review, the code review cycle, what makes a code review a great code review, and then how can I help others review my code? How can I review others' code? And then we'll go to GitHub to do a little demo of what we'll do. So what is code review? Code review is basically a conversation about a set of changes. It's a conversation, but developers do conversation using code and then probably GitHub and different comments you make on the code, on somebody else's code. So it's basically a conversation. Then it's one of the best spaces to share knowledge and then learn from others. So we should see it at all times. You should see code review as a medium to share knowledge and then to learn from others too. It's a collaboration, of course, where you share your work and ask questions, and then it helps you improve as a developer, of course, because you get to learn from others. So it helps your team to decentralize knowledge, to share responsibility, and then to improve code-based quality. So by the time everyone goes through your code and then there is decentralized knowledge, so everyone gets to understand and even to read what somebody wrote, and then they are able to pick one or two things they didn't know about from there. So I also share responsibility and improve code-based quality ultimately. So the ultimate goal is to improve code-based quality, but in the process, you should see it as a learning medium. All right, so the code review cycle is you open a pull request, you receive feedback, and then you make changes, you merge, just like Aristos and Rachel's team. So just that way, Aristos goes to GitHub to see their code, and then he makes comments, recommendations, and requests modification. Then Rachel's team can go back, review the feedback, and then make changes, push back to GitHub. And then when everything is working well, then go ahead to merge. So that is the code review cycle. So what makes a code review a great code review? So it's good to not focus on stylistic changes. So there are tools for that, like EXLint, type checkers. So it's good to not focus so much on you miss the semicolon here, you can add a space there, you're using tabs and not spaces, so those stuff. So it's good to not focus on them. And then try out the feature locally, of course. So it's always good to pull down. I just remembered my senior at work, like every single code review he reviews, he always has 2 versions of the project on his laptop. So you always pull it down. So it's always nice to pull it down and run it locally, because you want to do everything on GitHub, you might miss some things, you might even miss some functionalities. So thirdly, one of the another thing that makes a code review a good code review is, will you understand this code a month from now? Then it's good to praise the developer whose code you're reviewing. It's always good to praise. It's always good to default to approval. It's always good to be kind and empathetic. That cannot be overemphasized. It's always so good. That's why they are in capital letters. Like, these are really nice things to do while reviewing other people's code. So you help others understand your changes, and then try to answer all the questions, and then take your time while reviewing someone else's code. So run the code. So try the feature locally, as we said before. It gives you confidence. It helps you to find out what you wouldn't find out when you just like skim over it or just do it from GitHub. Then it's also advisable to resist the temptation to skip or looks good to me. This LGTM, developers use it a lot, like to just go to GitHub, skim through, and then LGTM looks good to me. So it's always better to pull it down and run it locally. And then PR can include instructions on how to run the code depending on the team. Yeah, and we have that at the Collab lab. Breda just talked about it, that you should be able to give your reviewer the steps to take while reviewing your code. It will really be helpful. And then if you're not sure how, ask questions. Of course, always ask questions. It's a great learning opportunity. All right, how can I help others review my code? By adding a meaningful PR description, like Reda just pointed out. It's really helpful, especially in probably in real life, scenarios where there are so many at work. Sometimes we used to have up to 10, 15 PRs, and then people are just like trying to review each and every one of them. So it will really be helpful if they get to your branch and then they see all the steps really clear, the description of what your PR is doing, how they can test it, probably screenshots. It's really be helpful. Then it's advisable to wherever possible, write meaningful commit messages. Then self-review your code. So commit messages, it's, I think Greg also talked about it, like where you don't write commit messages, it takes the branch name, I think. So when asked about commit message, you should be able to write probably a sentence describing what the feature, what your code is doing, so that someone can just read it and have an idea of what they're getting into. So self-review your code first of all before others can review it by explaining why you did what you did, and then asking questions, even if you're not the one, even if you're the one creating the PR. Okay, so fourthly, use screen capturing tools. They help a lot. Of course, something like Loom, Sketch, Zappy, you can use it to just demo your feature while screen recording your screen, so that someone can also, like after reading the description and steps to do it, they can play the video and see what they're expecting to see locally, the feature. All right, so I think it's demo time. All right. Okay, so let me quickly show us using this PR that is still open. So someone tags you to their PR to help them review. You come to the PR, there is a conversation tab, there is a commits tab, there is checks, and then there is files changed. So you're supposed to pull it down, read the description, follow, see the acceptance criteria that you're expecting the feature to have, and then you see the steps to test them. Then when you're done testing and then you see some certain things in the code and you want to make a comment, you come over to the files changed tab. So you get to see the files and then the code. So you can easily, like if you want to make a comment about this return statement of the list item, sorry about that. If I want to make a comment about this, I can easily come here and just drag it down like this. So it means I want to make a comment on line 4 to 8. Then once I drag it down, I can add my comment that way and then start review. Or I think when you're commenting for the first time, it's start review. But when you've been commenting, like when this is not the first time, I think something else will be here, comments or something like that, comments. Yeah. So that's just because, yeah, I want to do it. So, and then you see something else down here. You can also put your cursor here, drag it down and make your comment that way. You can also, from this side, from the left side, navigate to any file you want to see real quick, and just from there navigate. And then tells they point out. Okay, and of course you can see the history of commits. Like if you want to go to a single commit, you can find them in this tab where they listed the whole commit. Sorry, Mide, I've let you in. All right, so on this tab, you can see the commits, and then I think this is our GitHub action. So this is the tests that will run, the checks that will run when you make your PR, just to deploy that branch so that someone can easily click and then see what you did. Yeah. What else?
Shamaka, can you like point out the review changes, like the green button, because after they comment, they need to, in the end, in the files, change it.
Okay, files changed, okay.
After they comment in each, if there is any change and they comment on them, there is the green button at the corner, review changes at the top corner.
Okay.
So after they finish, they can like leave a general comment or request changes and that stuff.
Yeah. So when you finish making it, the individual changes on individual code blocks, and then you want to leave a general message, you can type them here, and then you either ultimately end the review by leaving it as a comment or approving the pull request or requesting changes. Requesting changes means they'll have to make updates before the PR is merged. Then approve, of course, means they can go ahead to merge. So comments might mean that this is good, like recommendations. This is not a blocker, but if you do it, it's nice. So it's non-blocking. So I think when it's request changes, it means they'll have to make updates before the PR can be merged. So yeah. Someone is in the chat. Who should click on resolve conversations? Okay, so resolve conversations is when someone has made a comment on your PR and then you've gone to fix it. You've gone to make the updates on the PR. So when the person, yeah, either of you can actually make the update. So when the person that requested the change has gone back to see that you fixed it, then they can resolve the changes. You can either resolve the changes or the person that is reviewing the PR can resolve the changes. Anybody.
But if you also, sorry for interrupting, if you also post after the review, the resolve conversation automatically happens on GitHub. So if I write a comment here, something, and you do a new push with a new commit, the change is automatically resolved.
Okay. Yes. And then there is a conversation tab. Of course, like if I see a conversation going on about this line of code, I already see Aristo's comments. I can easily make my own comments under the same line of code. So this is the tab for it. So you can easily scroll down and see what has been going on the PR so far. So yeah, that's it for code review. Any other questions? Yeah, Chris, I can go first.
I just wanted to double check that I understood correctly. So for a PR like this one, for example, the title ideally should just be read shopping list. Is that right?
Do you mean this title?
Yeah, like how did you say, like how should it be ideally?
So I think it's
I know Reda mentioned it.
Yeah, so is it the commit messages? Yeah, I read that.
That's actually the branch name.
Yeah.
So when you first make a PR, it's automatically putting the branch name there. So the ideal, there is no ideal title, but just it should be descriptive, you know. So
okay,
if I came here and see LI and MD, I won't understand what is that. So it may confuse me. That's all. You just need to put a descriptive title. It can be even the name of the future or the branch that you are working on. That's it. I just wanted to mention that you should like pay attention to your title, because most of the time it's on the top and you don't even see it as it's automatically filled, you know. So
when do they get to set the title? Is it a commit message? I think it's
the first commit message that your branch has. So if it has 5 commits, it takes the first message and puts it on the title.
Yeah. So cluster, to answer your question, is the commit message when you're committing the branch. So any commit message you put locally is what appears here. Yeah. All right. Are there any other questions? None. Okay. All right. I'll stop sharing now and Aristos will take over, but shortly before that, I just want to go through the process again. The process of working on your task, making PR, office hours, and everything, just for us to get more conversant with it. So usually on Sunday, like today, we'll do the demo for the previous week, and then do any learning modules that we have for that day or retros as we'll see next week, and then we'll go through the tasks. So during the week, the teammates are expected to work on their tasks and then reach out on Slack if there are any issues or blockers. Then each team, after working on their own task, are expected to push it to GitHub and then make a PR. So when you make the initial PR, you tag the other team as reviewers on GitHub. So it helps to also tag them on Slack, just in case they miss the email from GitHub, because GitHub usually sends emails when you're tagged on GitHub. So in case they miss that, we just like put it on Slack, and to also tell people where you are, of course we'll see the GitHub but just like put it on Slack to let them know. And then the other team does the same. So when the other team goes through your code and then they approve it, you go ahead to tag the mentor. You can just ask on Slack, mentors, our PR is ready, who can I tag? Or you can just tag all of us, or anyhow you want to do it. But just when the other team signs off on your PR, you're expected to tag the mentors. So when you tag the mentors are expected to review your code and approve. So when a mentor approves your PR, you are expected to go back to GitHub and merge. So we did it in such a way that the developers will be the ones merging and resolving conflicts, so that by the end of Collab Lab, you have gotten used to it. So we want you to, as much as possible, be part of everything we do. That's why Collabs review code. That's why they merge. That's why they resolve conflicts, so that you'll be used to it, because these are the things that are done in real life, and it won't help you if the mentors are already used to it, go ahead to do all those things for you. I want you to, as much as possible, do those things yourself so that you'll get used to it. So when the mentor approves, you go back to merge and resolve every conflict. So when you merge your own code. So Clester and Victor are expected to merge their own code. Mide and Rachel are expected to merge their own code after the mentors have approved. So you verify that it's deploying the hosted link, the production link, and everything before Sunday, so you can demo on it. And then there is the office hour. The office hour is just where you come together to talk about anything indeed, but most of the time it's about the issues, if you have any blockers. But sometimes it's not always about the issues, about the tasks for that week. It can be anything at all, any other thing. Like this week, we talked about jobs. So it can be anything, and it's not compulsory. I need to mention that it's not compulsory. So if the time a mentor picked out does not really work for you, you can skip it, and then you can ask your questions. But as much as possible, it's always good to attend, so that you get all the information that you need and everything. So after the office hours, and then there is the weekly sync. Yeah, so there is the other weekly sync where we talk about what we did the previous time. I don't know, have I missing anything, Reda? So that's just like the shortest version of what we do. Yeah, you can go me there. I have a question about merging PRs. Do you mean that after the mentor approves the PR, we have to go to do the merge on GitHub? Yeah, so you can do it on GitHub. You can do it locally. If some people prefer to just click the merge button and it will merge, some other people prefer to merge it locally. But obviously, if there are merge conflicts, you can't merge it on GitHub. We have to pull it down, resolve the conflicts, probably merge locally, and then push back to main branch. So anyhow you want to do the merge is okay.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm still not clear on this. Okay, so you're talking about between two people collaborating, right? Or now that we have a code that we're expecting our to merge for us, that one is not what we're supposed to do. So what you mean is between two collabs?
Yes, yes. So why your PR is still open is because Aristos wants to use it to do a demo for us. We'll go into that after this. But usually,
I understand.
yes. So when he does the demo on how you can do the rebase and merge from next week, a mentor just has to approve your PR and then you go ahead to merge your PR by yourself.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Yeah, Rita.
I have just something I wanted to share with Collabis, but I wanted to share it the first week, but I always forget. So I just wanna like share it now. It's about the authored by future, but it's I will share the link here. So what it does basically just put two names on the commit message, like so you both get credits. Both Collabis will get credit. You can check the link, and if there is any question, you can reach out to me or any other mentor. It's really a good feature. So when you enter GitHub, you will see it's like committed by, for example, Claysta and Victor or Rachel and Midi. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Rita. Oh, hi, Claysta.
Just a quick question. After merging the PR, do we delete the branch or should we leave it?
I think it's up to you. Because are there possibilities that you would make reference to the branch? Since it's already in the main, I think delete or leave it. So I think it's up to the developers. All right, Aristos, you can take it away.
I was also commenting that it's the most common thing that I've seen is that there's an option on the PR that when you merge, it automatically deletes your branch. And most often, at some point or another, you will come up at a place that you will have to clean up your repository, and then you clean also branches that have been merged before. So you will end up cleaning the branch at some point.
It's just as the Shamaka said, it's up to the team you are working on or to the developer. In our case, we are not deleting the branches immediately, just in case we need them or something like that. Even there is a way to restore the branch, but we are doing just what Aristos just said. We are not like deleting the branch immediately, but after some time, we are just deleting all, we're clearing the code base and like we are just deleting all the branches that have been merged.
Okay,
right.
so
you can, yeah.
Should we move on with the issues or with the rebase thing?
Yeah, so we'll quickly go through the rebase and then we'll close out with the issues for next week.
Perfect. Okay, let me share my screen here. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so what we essentially do is, let's say that we work on the project, we have our main branch, right? We have our changes. And at some point we create a new branch, okay? And which is the new feature, right? So when we merge, we practically take the old branch and we merge the new branch. We merge the new branch with the new features to the main, right? So now our main is updated. But the problem is what happens when we are here and we have created a new feature, but someone has already pushed some changes to the main branch. So we have our changes, but our new branch with the new features is behind, right? So what we want to do is bring the new branch up to speed with the main branch, right? So we want our new repository to be essentially in that state. We have these new features here. So we want our branch to be like that. Take the two new features that were introduced and put the new changes here, right? So this is what Rebase does essentially. It brings up to speed the old branch, the new branch we have created with the new changes that have been introduced, right? And so let's go into the code right now and see how it works. But essentially, Git rebase is done with this nice command, Git rebase. Okay, and we will see how it works. There is the simple Git rebase and also the interactive Git rebase. And we always rebase from a branch. So let's say that we are on this branch here and we rebase our main branch. We go to the branch that we are working and we rebase our main branch and respectively Git rebase interactive main. Okay, we'll take a look only on the simple one, the Git rebase. And you can take a look what the Git rebase interactive main does. So let me walk you through. Let me walk you through at how we do that. Okay. Let's go. I'm just deleting and pulling so I make sure that I'm on the latest changes. Nothing major here. Okay. And if you go and see the graph now, right, you will see that our main branch is here. And we see that the branch of Michelle and Mide is over here, but started here. So it's one branch, one commit before. So we want to bring their branch up to speed with the main branch. So what do? We are and along the way, of course, you may sometimes have to resolve conflicts and you know, because it's not always automatic. It doesn't always happen automatically, but most of the time it does. So what we do is, let me clear here. Can you see? Do you want me to zoom a little bit?
Yeah, it's fine here.
I can see.
Okay, just want to see a little bit more. Okay. So we do Git rebase main. You always start with that, okay? So what do we see here? Our editor and Git tells us that we have conflicts between our branch and the main branch, okay? So what you need to do now is to see where are these problems. So you just type Git status. Okay, you will have the recording, so you will again be able to see the steps that you need to follow. But once you get familiar with it, it's always the same thing over and over again until until everything is rebased. So again, Git status. So I see here that what concerns us is only the red ones. We ignore the green thingies. We only see the files that are on red. So we see that we have a change on the views slash list.jsx. So we go to that file. And here we see that we have some conflicts. So at this point, we simply have to choose what is the change that we want to keep. Okay, so we see that the newest addition is the current one. So I just press accept current change, and that's it. I just have to save. Very, very important, because if you forgot to save, the changes won't happen, and you will end up questioning yourself. Nothing has changed. So always don't forget to save. Then you just do git add all to state the changes. It's pretty much everything that we talked about on the previous Git module in one. So you always make a change, you state it, and then you commit it or you continue with your base. So git add all to state our changes. And then we check the VS Code settings.json. This file does not concern us for the moment, because although it exists, we put it on git ignore, which will later appear on a later commit. So you will usually have two lists, one with greens and one with reds. So ignore that for now. So we do git add and then git rebase continue. Again, we have the same thing happens. We have, because when you do rebase, Git takes your branch one commit at a time and checks if there are conflicts. So this thing may happen almost as many commits you have. So if you have 5 commits, it will take 1 commit, check it for conflicts, warn you if you have conflicts, and then move to the next commit. So that's why we see that happening many times and more than one. I know it's a little confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it will be very easy for you, and we will have time to talk about it inside the week in the office hours. So don't feel overwhelmed, because it's maybe the most difficult part of Git, but at the same time it's very useful, and I promise you, once you get the hang of it, it will be very easy. So again, we run with conflicts. We set git status to see what is wrong with our branch. We see we have 2 greens, which it's fine. We don't have branches. We don't have conflicts. We have 1 red, which is the conflicts. And again, we go to the file. It was I had opened it before, that's why it appeared here. So we check, should we accept the current change? Should we accept the incoming change? Sometimes we have to accept both changes and keep changes from both commits. But for now, we need to accept the incoming change, because we see that we have added 1 extra line here. Okay, so again, we save the file, git add, git rebase continue. You see, it's always the same repetitive action, nothing special here. So when you come to this place, you practically all you have to do is if you want to change the naming of the commit, fine, but you just have to press Control X, and it just continues from there. So I press Control X again, the same times, the same thing, git status. Again, VS Code, yes, this was deleted, so we don't even care. So yeah, git. Now, since I don't need to make any changes, all is green. Usually, this thing you will not even noticing these unmerged paths. It happens because we have added some changes on git ignore. So most of the time, this thing won't exist, only changes that need to be committed. So git rebase continue. Okay, check. Okay, yes. Here I need to do something that, because there was a mix-up with our gitignore file, I need to do something that will never happen for you, but I need to do it now because otherwise we can't publish out changes. And this is not part of the rebase again, just for now. What this does is because we have changes on the files and we later added this file on gitignore, which should ignore this file, which is this one. We need to update Git to tell it that, look, we have done some changes, but we really don't need them. So this is all it does. Okay. This is it. It will not happen for you ever. Git rebase continue, Control X, and this is it. And once you're finished, you have successfully rebased. And if you go to the Git graph now, you will see that this is main, and this is the new branch. Here, the visualization here is a little different, and it appears like it's the same branch, but actually the dots are the branches here on this specific visualization. But yeah, you can see that now our new branch of Michelle and Mide are on the same, are updated with the previous changes. So what you need to do now is do when you rebase, when you need to do a git push with force, because it's like introducing breaking changes to your branch, but it's completely safe. You generally shouldn't be doing pushes with force, but when you do it with rebase, because you do it on your branch, it's okay. For example, never push on main with force. It's very dangerous, but on your branch, it's okay to do it. So we do push with force, and now if we go the pull request, we'll see that we have only the commits of that the girls actually implemented and not the merge commits. And also we'll see that we have only the files changed, and not, because if you remember, we have the changes from the other PR as well. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I see that I have a message. I'm not sure. Yeah, white screen. Yeah. I know it's a little confusing, but actually the mental model is, in my opinion, a little simpler than merging. And yes, Reda, give me 5 seconds. And once you get the hang of it, I promise to you, it will be very easy for you to do it. Yeah.
I have a question because I'm not very familiar with the rebase. I know we are late, sorry. Just when we are actually using rebase and not merge, why would we prefer rebase over merge? And the second question is, couldn't we like just fix all conflicts in one commit, or you should do it for each one?
That's if you want to do all the changes, if you want to do the changes only once, you have to earlier squash all the commits into one and then do the rebase.
Oh. Okay.
And you can do that, let's say, but it's a little bit more complex. But essentially, what you have to do is, let's say that you have the new branch, and I'm typing on the chat. And let's say I have a new branch and I added 3 commits. So what I do is git rebase interactive head 3. Okay, so what I'm saying is that instead of rebasing with the main, I'm rebasing with the same branch I am. I with not capital, with small letter. And then with interactive, you can squash all your commits into one. And then you can do rebase with main. So you have 1 commit. So this will happen only once. But it depends on the situation. For example, if you want to have 3 commits, because each commit represents something, you will have to do it 3 times. If you want it just 1, you squash the commits first and then you do the rebase with main. And regarding your first question, merging is, at least for me mentally, when you have you have like the main branch, okay, and you create a new feature, and then you want to merge the new feature to the main branch. This is where you do merge because you have to add changes. But when you have newer changes on the main branch, you do rebase to bring your changes up to speed with the main branch, because with merging, you do indeed bring your your new branch up to speed, but you also introduce the commits from the previous PR, which is something that results on very messy history on your Git. And it's something that you don't like. And well, you can squash all the commits into one, but again, it's not very friendly, because at least how I have worked so far, it's very important to have a log of what change each commit has introduced. And if you introduce new changes and again, and there's a bug at some point that you need to solve, it's very hard to go back and see where that problem happened. But if you have a very clear history, you will see that. And I can actually show you a little bit from my work to show you actually how our commit message works. This is GitLab, not GitBrand, not GitHub. It's practically the same client, but you see, we have one merge commit and the actual commit, and it's always that one. One merge commit, one commit, always this, all the same time. So every time we have a problem, it's very easy for us to go back and fix and see where we did wrong, and revert the changes. And when we have a new fix that we introduce, we always merge from GitLab. Let me see if we need to rebase. Sometimes we do it from GitLab as well, because it gives you the option to rebase here. So, but it only gives you the option to rebase if there are not conflicts. If you have conflicts, you cannot rebase from the UI. So yeah, that's actually very helpful for me, because it helps you always keep your Git history tidy. And what I am accustomed to doing is every time when I start work, I do a Git pull, I go to the branch that I'm working, I do a Git rebase, and so I'm always up to speed with the things that are happening. But okay, that's just a preference. Git rebase is the main takeaway here, and how you can do it. I don't know if you have any other questions. We will talk through the week as well. After our last sync, I also sent you a link with a Git rebase tutorial from Atlassian, which is very nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. So let me actually approve this here. No. something. Oh no. Yeah, we're fine. Just okay. Yeah, we can resolve this. You see, it's out. This comment on this file is outdated, so I will just. I see that here I'm not able to resolve it actually. Anyways, I will just approve and.
Or you can just go ahead to merge it since there's nothing else.
Yeah, you see here, there should be somewhere the option that we mentioned before that you can, probably it's on the settings anyway. Yeah, we can just merge. Yeah. Yeah, you see here, you can delete the branch if you want. On GitLab, for example, it gives you the option which you can have on or off to here. So we have that set to toggle always, and we always delete the branch. But we are safe because we know that we merge in a very specific way. So every time, even though we delete the branch, we know that two commits behind will be our main before the merging. Anyways, that's all from me. So we can move to the next week's issues, right?
Thank you, Aristos.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So let me very quickly done. Yeah, that's right. We have automatically. So yeah.
So for this week, we are taking 3 and 4. Okay.
Yeah, 3 and 4. So as the first ticket, we need to set up a new shopping list so we can track the purchase items, and all this list is associated with a 3-word token. So we need, as users, be able to start new lists and save the things that we need to buy. But first, because we need to save the changes, we need to generate a new token. We need to save the token to the local storage and show the user the list view. And as you can see, up to now, we had items in the list associated with the token of my test list. So before we can allow the users to make new lists, we have to stop showing them the test list first. So as you can see, the acceptance criteria is to add this dependency to the project. You need to check if you need to add this dependency as a dev dependency or a normal dependency. The go-to rule for this is that anything that that your project needs to run needs to be on the dependencies. Anything you need only for the development procedure is going on the dev dependencies. And you have to replace my test list in the app.jsx with null. So the user is not automatically subscribed to any list. And then we have a flow. What happens if user doesn't already have the token? What if it happens if the user already has a token? So if the user does not, a button in the home component allows them to create a new list. So that means that you will open the app on the home page and you need to stay there. Clicking the button generates a new token and saves it to the local storage, and you do that by using the setlist token. And once the token has been created and saved, the user is redirected to the list view. But if we do have a token, we are automatically redirected to list view because we know what list we're going to see. And there are some notes. I didn't take a look at them actually, so yeah, you need to use the package to generate the token. We have the documentation here. Just a comment, reading documentation is a very useful skill because it's a good thing to reading tutorials and videos and all the things, but reading the actual documentation is always going to save you a lot of time when you are facing bugs and issues. So importing the generated token is done like that. You see what the setlist token does, and it takes one argument. That's a heads up what the welcome page will look like. That's mostly for future reference. So when you do, when you implement your tasks, that they could be as close to that as possible, but we will dedicate separate issues in the future to make our application more presentable anyways. So don't focus too much at this point with the styling. And yeah, we can just have a create list button and yeah. And yeah, although you're not required to save the token to the Firestore, some things have opted to do that. So you don't have to do it only from local storage. And that's for that's because you want to have a more stable way of saving the changes that you have done other than the local storage. So that's the issue number 3. You guys have any questions for that? No? Okay, moving on. Number 4. So as a user, I want to add a new item to my shopping list so that I can start recording purchases. So we just need to be able to add items to our shopping list, and we have the add item view for that, which we need the form, and in that form we will enter the name of the item and an estimate of when we will need to buy that item again. And you can always refer to the shopping list API because it's going to be very helpful for you in the future. And what the acceptance criteria are, the view home displays a form that allows them to enter the name of the item and select how soon they anticipate needing buying that again. I think that should be not home, but shouldn't that be the list view, Chiamaka? And not the home view actually?
So the home is where, oh, the home view displays a form that
I think this should be the list view, yeah?
That's like how soon. Oh, that is the add item view. That is the add item view that will have
Yeah, but we should redirect to that item view from the list view, right? Not from the home view.
So user needs to be able to add items to the shopping list. So where they have this form where they can be able to choose soon, kind of soon or not soon, is the add item view, not the home view. So acceptance criterion, when someone goes to the add item view, they should be able to see a form with all of these input fields, not the home. Rita, can you? Okay. All right. Thank you for correcting that.
No worries. So yeah, Yeah, we need to enter the three choices: soon, kind of soon, and not soon. So you need maybe a little bit to think about what is the data structure that you're going to save that here. That's one input from me. Right now from reading it, you need also the input that accepts the name. And you also need a label for that name. So you also need to think about the data structure here on how you save that. The user will submit the form with the mouse and the enter key. So you need to think about how to build the form so it works on pressing the enter key as well. And when the user submits the form, they see a message indicated that the item was either was or was not saved to the database. And the data-related tasks, as you can see, the console log in the add item function in source happy firebase.js is replaced with a function that adds the new document to the Firestore database, and that function will be imported from the Firebase Firestore module. The user soon, not soon, kind of soon choices is used to calculate the next purchase date. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the notes, you will know that you have resolved this correctly, since a new item will show up in the list view, because stream list item gets new data from Firestore every time there's a change. And you will know your label is correctly implemented if you click on the label and keyboard focus moves to the related input. Users should be able to submit with enter, like we mentioned. Yeah, you need to listen for the right JavaScript event on the right element. If you should not add key down, listener anywhere. Yeah, you might overcomplicate things. There is a very specific way to implement that, even with HTML, not even JavaScript. Actually, well, you need JavaScript, but there's an HTML-less way to do that. And yeah, has a potential to be a lot of scope. The wireframe for the add item page has several nodes related to the accessibility and UX. Yeah. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I have an issue. Yeah, I will get back to you in a moment. Mida, let's finish with that. Do you have any questions, anyone from this? Okay. Mida, what is your problem?
Okay, so I just opened the code to look at it, and I noticed that it was showing a red exclamation mark on my Git signal, and I don't know why. I think I did a Git pull just to be up to date, and then it's showing a red exclamation mark, and then asking to keep or not keep a particular JSON settings, which I told it to accept the incoming change, and so it's asking me that I should match. That's the it's asking for a branch merge.
Did you do the pull while you were on main?
No. I was on the branch.
You were on the branch. Yeah, because we have rebased and forced pull, so there are conflicts. So what I suggest you do is that you go to main, you delete your local branch, and then pull your origin branch from there.
Main. So
Okay, I should switch
yeah,
to main,
so
right?
basically we are done. We are done with your branch. So you can now just check out to main, pull the latest one, and then when you want to start this new task for next week, you can just check out from main. So for now, we are done with the local branch you're currently on. You shouldn't be pulling on there. It should be the
Oh,
main.
okay. So I should delete it
Mhm.
from here. Is that what you're saying?
You can delete it or you can just check out to main. You can just abandon that one and check out to main and then pull down main.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Aristos. So if
Thank you,
there are
everyone.
sometimes when we are going through the issues, developers usually do not have questions until they start to read the issues when you want to implement it. So please, whenever you have any questions, you can always reach out to us on Slack. And then sorry that we took so much time. We'll try as much as possible to be doing async communication going forward. So just like drop the message on Slack, and when someone sees it, they will reply. I think it will be better that way. All right. Thank you so much, guys. See you on Slack.
Yeah, just to mention, don't feel scared about the rebase thing. Okay, it's a useful tool, but you will get the hang of it. It's not necessary for us to work.
So I have a question. So no, please finish what you're saying.
And yeah, we'll work on it again. If you have questions, reach out to us and we'll figure out how to do it. Most often than not, since you will be working on separate files, you won't have to do that. You will just type git rebase main and everything will happen for you. And even more often, you will just do it from the UI on GitHub. So don't worry about that. We actually needed to do that because there was a merge done to bring you up to speed with the main. So that's why we needed to do the rebase. Yeah, we have to assign the week's issues, right? Do we do it after the meeting? I'm not sure.
Maybe check if someone
Okay, so we
has
have
preferences.
Yeah, we have Victor and Michelle for this week, then Clesta and Mide. So does anyone have any preferences? We can just assign it on GitHub, or we can just do it randomly. I'm flexible. Okay. So we can do Victor and Michelle for 3, Clesta and Mide for 4. All right. Thank you.
All right.
I
will assign the tickets and we'll talk during the week. I think I have office hours for this week, so I will write to you about them and I will create a doodle.
And yes, last thing, just when it's ready for the mentor review, I will be the one who doing the code review. So just mention me.
All right. And if you have any questions, you can tag us in your thread so that, or you can do it on Slack, like create a thread for it. All right. Thank you, guys. See you on Slack.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.